Hello, Empowered Vegans. I'm Mariquita Solis of Empowered Vegans live stream. I am a vegan empowerment coach, a transformational coach, and I'm excited to be here with my good friends Angela Fischetti, and maybe T, who might be hiding, lurking around there. So, welcome, T, if you're in the background there. So, Angela is a boomer and beyond wellness. She is an inspiration to me, full of life. And I said, I better wake up quick because here she is. So, Angela, welcome. And everyone who's watching, please get your comments in the chat and we'll be answering questions later. Make sure you give StreamYard permission to use your name and welcome. So, Angela, tell all our beautiful viewers about who you are and your mission here.
Oh boy, oh boy. My mission here in today's class, you mean, in this particular class? All right, thank you so much for that. What a lovely introduction, and it's always great to be with you, Mariquita. I feel like we're like long-time friends, and just have a good time when we get together. So what we're going to do here, the title of the class is Yoga-Based Stretches to Benefit Forward Bending and Back Bending. Now, I did two other workouts. These were workouts. They focused on strength training. And therefore, this is like a trilogy that I created with the first part was for push and pull movements. That was strength training. The second part was forward bending and back bending, also strength training. But this one, because of those two movements of forward bending and back bending, they lend themselves to people wanting relief by way of mobility and flexibility. And all three of these classes were inspired by my recent move. I just observed the whole time while I was doing the move, and I was so immersed in the physical move. I moved, I packed over 120 boxes myself. These were not small little Amazon book boxes or anything like that. And I, on purpose, knew that because everything happened so fast with my move, I mean, it was fast. Within a week to 10 days, I sold my place and purchased another. That's how fast it was. And we needed the money from one to buy the other, and it had to be the closing dates. And so everything got accomplished, including the move, including putting everything away and in its place, discarding the boxes properly. Everything got accomplished in 34 days. So I thank you, but I knew, being a team of one, well, how am I going to fit in working out? What I did fit in was late night yoga, because I just needed to stretch from all of that, But I knew, okay, take this on as a challenge. You're going to use real life activities of daily living, functional movements, and you're going to turn that into a workout. So therefore, I did all of the packing. I actually transported over 50 of those boxes myself, which meant packing them up, getting them out of my building, my former building, into the car, drive up here, unpack, bring them up. I'm on the top floor here too. It's only 4 floors. And, but that's what I set out on this mission to do this healthfully. And I kept observing, I'm doing a lot of pushing, pulling, and people go, why would you be back bending? Because when you're pulling, sometimes you got to lean back and all that. And I just thought, let's turn this into some videos and classes for people, because this is something that people go through in life, and especially later in life. I moved from South Beach, from a condo there. This is a condominium over here in Lauderdale Lakes, but it's a 55 plus community. So it's a whole kind of change in atmosphere and life. And this is something that happens with people later in life. And they have to be strong enough and flexible enough to be able to handle this kind of a move. And within 3 days of all those boxes being delivered, I unloaded everything. In 3 days, everything had a place furniture moved, all that stuff. I called upon help now and then. I called upon some people in the building. They were really happy to come up and just kind of resituate a couple of pieces of furniture, but I kept it to a minimum. I was like, you've got to do this yourself. So, as a team of one, I'm very proud of that. And now tonight, though, thank you for that. Yay. Um, but tonight, now this is about kind of releasing from all of that. So this is the last. This will just be a trilogy where the move was my muse, so to speak. So that's how we're going to handle this. And what we're going to do here, Mariquita, is we're going to do standing stretches, postures, kind of thing. But we're also going to be using the chair. We might be using it as a prop and also be using to sit in it. And then down on the floor. And if there are people who are watching here, if your viewers are watching and they're like, well, I can't get to the floor, well, kind of use the chair then for some of it. Sit down, right? If you can't get down on the ground, sit down. Or you can also opt to do some of it in your bed. So you have access to be able to get down on your back, and that means face up supine, and it's doable then for you. Whatever you can't do, that's all right as well. That's fine. And we'll get into that in just a few moments. So that's how we're going to do this today. Sound good to you, Mariquita?
Sounds great.
Great, good. So you let me know when you want me to go right into teaching the class and all that.
I think we're ready.
We're ready. Okay, so then let's do it. I appreciate it. I know. Bye, I'm Mariquita. I'll see you in a little bit. Thank you so much, my dear. So now we're going to move right into the class. So the accessories we're going to be using today will be a sticky yoga mat. I'm going to give you a medical disclaimer precautionary measure right off the top. So the mat is made from latex. And so if you have a latex allergy, then you want to look for non-latex or latex free. We'll also be using, well, I will be using a yoga chair. I love them. I love it for obvious reasons, and you're going to see how we're going to work with this. But you don't have to use a yoga chair. You can use a standard folding chair, provided you have some space between the backing and the seat. This way you can work with that bottom portion. Then we'll also be using 2 yoga blocks, which will be the same size as each other, a yoga strap. I will be using a yoga bolster. However, you don't need to have a bolster. You can have like a really thick pillow or a cushion. And then for me, when I go to sit in the chair, I like a thin cushion under my seat. And then finally, for those of you who are medicated or not for hypertension, have GERD or vertigo, when I get down on the floor, and if you choose to get down on the floor as well, you want to make sure you have 1 or 2 small hand towels folded up. I want your heads slightly elevated. So continuing now into more medical disclaimers and precautionary measures. So if you have any back spine issues whatsoever, especially if you've been told not to forward flex the spine, meaning not to bend down and pick up something. And oftentimes those with osteoporosis of the spine have been instructed not to do the forward bending. And also those with postural deviation, in particular hyperkyphosis. So that's the one where we're kind of a little bit hunched over. So you can remain upright for the work when I am forward flexing. And then you can also do it seated upright with a yoga strap. And you'll see, I'll point this out to all of you as we do the movements themselves. Continuing on, if you're medicated or not for hypertension, vertigo, or GERD, you already know about keeping your head up with the towels. Now, what I want you to avoid is this movement. So that's flexion of the cervical spine of the neck. I want you to be careful of that. The other thing too is a lot of times people will do this, and that's a forward neck or a forward head projection. Caution with that as well. We want you folks to keep your head neutral. So people, please pay attention to these modifications, because I'm not going to repeat them during the work That's why we go over it at the very beginning. Also, if you have carpal tunnel syndrome, you want to avoid this wrist position. It doesn't matter the position of the arm and forearm. It could be anywhere you want, but it's this position, wrist extension, that needs to be avoided. So let me point out a couple of places where that would be an issue for you. We're going to do a little bit of like sitting in the chair and back bending, so to speak. It's more like a spine extension. But when we do it, I put my hands on the chair, on the seat, so that I can really thrust my chest up. Now, what is that? That's wrist extension, right? So what you're going to do is curl your fingers underneath the base of the chair, the seat itself, so that your wrists are straight. In the other movement, it's when I'll do something like this, a back bend. Now, for some of you, you might need to make it small, but notice the hands, because the hands are on the sacrum, the flat triangular plate at the small of the back. They're in wrist extension. So what you folks do is just slide down and let those wrists be straighter. Also, if you've had a TIA, a transient ischemic attack, or a stroke, then when you do any of the back bending, now for some of us, like myself, I love to drop my head all the way back. That's because the cervical spine of the neck is definitely capable of hyperextension. But if you've had a TIA or stroke, don't do that. I'm going to advise you to keep your head neutral. So if you're back here, keep it neutral. Don't follow through with the cervical spine. So there might be other things that I talk about. Yes, I just thought of something else. If you have osteoporosis of the hips, or you've had a hip replacement, whether or not it was due to osteoporosis, it doesn't matter, okay? But in both cases, you're going to see me in positions where I'll be sitting and the legs will be wide apart. Now, if you've been advised to not go super wide, don't, folks. Just because you see me doing it doesn't mean it's appropriate for you. Now, maybe you've been told it's okay. Your joints are in the clear. You can do pretty much anything you want to do, but you're going to hear me give you suggestions. Do not go as wide as you can. Reel it in. Anything else? I think that's it for now. I might come up with some stuff. Yeah, I got one. I just realized. So in one of the movements, I'm going to tie in, in a few of the movements, I'm going to tie in balance. So if you have challenges with your vestibular system, which is balance, then number one, folks, you should never be working out unaccompanied. You should have a companion with you, just to make sure that you are safe. And so a little tip for those with vestibular challenges: if it's something where you're standing, go wider. It's a broader base of support. I'm going to do stuff with the feet right up against each other. I'm doing that on purpose to challenge us with balance. So you have to please be very cautious when it comes to that. So having said all of this, what's the point of me saying this stuff to you? Well, they're all chronic concerns, what I'm mentioning, and there are many others. So what I basically want to say to anyone with any chronic concern whatsoever, because I can't mention them all here, you are invited to preview the video first before participating. All right. You want to look for what you can do. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be there. But however, you might say at the end of watching it, I don't know. Then I would invite the medical healthcare practitioner who knows your body best to preview the video as well, and then help you make an informed decision, because that's what this is all about, is being informed, not second guessing. So having said all this stuff, we're going to get started right now. So I'm standing with my feet together. I'm just going to go a little further away from my chair, and the inner big toes are touching each other. I'm lifting all 10 toes off the floor. So that's going to distribute the body weight a little bit further back into the heels. I'm going to lift my shoulders up, back, and down, and then draw the arms about 10 to 15 degrees away from the side body. The knees are soft, the legs are straight, the belly button is engaged, the gluteal muscles are contracted. So this in yoga is referred to as Tadasana, and it means mountain pose. And with the toes lifted, I'm just thinking and feeling that I am distributing the body weight into all four corners of the feet. It creates an effect of what's called samastihiti, which is equal standing. Now, I'm going to add in that element of balance. Close the eyes. And you might start to see me wavering. And that's a good sign because that means my ankles are working to do the job to help me balance. And I notice that, wow, my quadricep muscles at my front thighs, they engage, they are contracted even more with the eyes closed. They're isometrically contracted. The belly button pulls in. That means I'm working the transverse abdominis muscle, the deepest of our core muscles, just lying below the belly button. And I just allow for that little bit of wobbly feeling. I'm not going to fall. And if you feel like, oh, it's too much, you can hold on to something, maybe grab the chair. You can also I should say, open your eyes. It's all right. Or separate your legs a bit wider apart. And then I'm going to slowly open the eyes. I'm just finding a few moments of gratitude and appreciation for our bodies for working so hard for us. And gratitude and appreciation for Mariquita for opening up her platform to us and sharing her space with us so that we can unite through movement, intentional movement and breath. And let's relax it all. Let's take some nice big shoulder rolls. And now I'm going to face the chair. And this is where I'm going to talk to carpal tunnel folk, okay? My hands will be palms flat. That means they're in wrist extension. So what you're going to do is just gently fold your fingers down. Don't curl the fingernails in because you can cut your skin, right? You're going to do what I call a soft fist, and you can keep those wrists straight. So I'm placing the palms down. Now, for those of you who have the back spine issues, you're going to need to do this upright. So I'm going to show you your variation for the moment. So you're going to come into a standing version of a cow. Watch it, TIA stroke. Head is neutral for you folks. And then on the exhale, you're just going to come to neutral while the rest of us come into flexion of the spine. So I'm going to do it now with my original intent. Feet as wide apart as the legs of the chair, arms straight and strong. You're pushing the chair away. Inhale, you're going to drop the belly down, tip the tailbone up, lift the crown of the head up and back. So this is a spine extension. This is back bending. And then on the exhale, keep the chin up, tuck the buttocks under, round the spine, lastly lower the head down. And that's going to be spine flexion. Inhaling, present the heart, shoulders back and down. Exhaling round, it's like doing a standing abdominal crunch. This is a standing cat. And inhale. And then exhale. We're going to do one more of each. Inhale. Want to see the difference in the spine between flexion and extension. Hold here. Draw the belly button in with the knees bent, hands to the thighs. Take your time slowly rolling up and take a couple of nice big shoulder rolls. And now I want to do some standing back extension. Real life, there's an awful lot of forward bending, spine flexion. We have to offset it with the back spine extension. So hands to the sacrum. Carpal tunnel knows their variation. I'm bringing the feet maybe just a little bit wider than the legs of the chair. And I'm thinking sliding the sacrum down toward the heels. Does the sacrum slide? No, but that's my visual. I'm bending the knees, rolling shoulders back. Now, if your range of motion is here, that's okay. All right, no problem with that. And watch the head, TIA stroke. Keep the chin neutral. Roll shoulders back, open the heart. And I'm going to let the head go. So what's stretching? Those front thighs, the hip flexors above those front thighs, the abdominal muscles, your anterior neck muscles at your throat. Breath in and out through the nose. And hold here. You can even play with straightening your knees. Inhale, lift up on the kneecaps. Engage those quadricep muscles isometrically. Exhale, release, and take some nice big shoulder rolls. Okay, so now we're going to play. So my outside leg is my real right leg, my technically thigh, okay? So I'm going to step through the chair. Now you know why I like a yoga chair. And I'm going to slide back. I want the back of the knee and the seat to be in contact with each other. I'm going to pull that outside hip back, the inside hip forward. So now I can be a little bit more squared off at the pelvis. From here, I'm going to crisscross my arms and I'm pushing away. I'm not collapsing toward the chair. I'm away from the chair. So I'm beginning the process of doing more deeper back bending, spine extension. Now, this is a variation on a posture called Anjaneyasana, meaning crescent moon. Breath in and out through the nose, if possible. And then to come out of it, I'm just going to swing my left leg forward, hold here for a few moments in breath. Let's do it again. And you could probably hear me deep breathing. Microphone is right there. So again, I'm pulling hip back, opposite hip forward. And maybe you feel like, I'm not warmed up enough yet. So go back to crisscross. I'm going to place my hands on the sides of the chair. And I'm going to lift the chest up and back. The more I lift up and back, the more I push back through the back heel. Now I'm going to get a lot of stretching going on in the hip flexor area. So hip flexor is located on the front side of the body, from the top of your thigh where it meets the bottom of your torso. I'm just pushing against the handrail. Notice I can start to open up a bit more into a back bend. It's a heart opener. I like to look up, TIA stroke, please, head neutral. I'm sorry to refer to folks by the conditions. It's the best that I can do right now because it's a lot of information. And then inhale, ooh la la, that was deep. Let's bring that leg forward, exhale, a couple of breaths. One last time. So I am very influenced by the work of BKS Iyengar. Mr. Iyengar created all of the yoga props, what have you, and he likes to repeat postures 3 times with just little subtle differences. So we're going to do it again. Last time for this on the side. Right hip back, left hip forward. Now you can play here. If you want to go further back, for some, you might want to hold on to the seat, right? You can do it like that. Or if you want to be a little more challenged with your balance as well, outside arm up, inside arm up. Inhale, hands to the heart. Exhale, hands to the chair. Swing the leg around. And again, take some breaths to recover. Okay, so now I'm going to stand on up. Hold your chair down because it can flip a little bit. And let's take some nice big shoulder rolls. Now, I'm going to take my yoga blocks and let me just point something out to you for those of you new to yoga blocks, or maybe you need a reminder. So you have 3 levels. This is level 1. We have level 2 and level 3. It's your call on how you would like to use it. But right now, the way I'm going to use this, I wouldn't go higher than level 2 though. All right. So I'm going to place the blocks here. Carpal tunnel, you can do the soft fist on the blocks. Palms flat. Eyes of the elbow crease straight forward. Feet the width of the chair. And standing cat-cow again. Move the head last in both positions. Head comes up last for cow. Head goes down last for cat. It's a gentle reminder to lead the practice from the heart, not the head. Let's do one more of each. Hold here. Hands to thighs. Take your time rolling up. And let's do some nice big shoulder rolls. Now, standing with the feet right up against each other. Inhale the arms up. I'm going to create a steeple. That means I'm going to interlock all 10 fingers except index fingers and thumbs. They're going to point up. And then exhale, I'm going to come into that back bend. Lift up on the kneecaps, reach to the ceiling. Inhale. Exhale, hands to the heart and shoulder rolls. All right, I'm going to set the blocks to the side. I'm going to turn my chair in the opposite direction. This way you can see it with this outside leg. Now, the floor here is uneven. So you could see it's tipping a little bit, right? Just like rocking a little bit. So that does affect how I do the work. So just be mindful of your circumstance and the reality of what you're dealing with. So I'm going to step my foot forward. Now it's the real left leg. I'm going to pull left hip back, right hip forward. Okay. I want to see if I can just do a little shift. Yep. Okay. I'm going to crisscross the forearms, reach back through the heel. Relax the shoulders. And I'm going to swing it forward. I have to be careful on this side, only because of the tipping when I bring the leg forward. So let's take a couple of breaths. And again, just like we did on the other side. Now I'm going to, instead of push into the handrail, although wait a minute. No, that's okay. I can. Wasn't sure if I could with the tipping. Yep, I can. So I'm pushing against the handrail, pushing back through the opposite heel, working on variation of Anjaneyasana, crescent moon. Definitely back bending, right? Big stretch to the inside thigh, the right thigh on me. So that quadricep muscle, the front of the thigh is stretching a bit up into the hip flexor region. TIA stroke, please, head neutral. And then swing it forward again. Take your breaths. It's very, very helpful, and the body will respond positively when we have mindful, intentional movement and breathing. So, one more time. Even lift my hips to square off the pelvis. I'm going to push down into the seat here. Careful of the wrists if you choose to do this carpal tunnel. Inhale, hands to the heart. Exhale, hands to the chair. Swing the leg forward. There's something very beautiful about Anjaneyasana. It's kind of offering up your heart to the universe. All right, I'm going to stand on up. Definitely holding the chair down. A couple of shoulder rolls. And now I'm going to do that standing cat-cow again, but this time, and we're going to be careful here, folks, because especially if you do have a yoga chair, they're kind of lightweight. So be careful because we're going to press down on the top of the chair. We don't want that chair to tip. Just lining up the feet, and here we go. Inhaling. So you'll find that the higher the surface, the deeper the movement. The more spine flexion and extension you can get. Oh, it feels so good. I'm going to hold right here, just lightly holding onto the chair. Belly button drawn in. I want you to think the belly button is coming out the small of the back. And then hands to the thighs, roll on up. Wow, that's pretty deep. Take some nice big shoulder rolls. Up, back, and down. Up, back, and down. Up, back, and down. All right, so I'm going to keep the chair here. However, I am going to reposition it just a little bit more on a diagonal. Want to make sure. Yep. All right. So let me turn her this way. Yeah, great. So now I'm going to begin with my right leg now as the inside leg. So I'm going to bring my right foot on the chair and placing the hands down, I'm going to step my back foot further back just a little bit. Holding steady. I just want to make sure of my sequence. Yeah, here we go. So now I'm going to pull the hips back and I'm going to start to slide that right leg out in front to then slide it back toward me. So it's right hip back, left hip or outside hip forward, inside hip back, outside hip forward. And I'm shifting my torso a bit. So I'm thinking a little bit more, bringing my outside shoulder toward the inside big toe. It's like a subtle twist in the hamstring stretch. Now, back spine issues and postural deviation, osteoporosis of the spine. You can sit in your chair and bring the leg out in front, use your yoga strap and tie it around, just loop it around your ball of the foot, and with both hands you can pull. You can keep your torso upright and still get a wonderful stretch at the back of that leg and up into the glute. Wow, this just feels wonderful. It's serious work for me, folks. Now I'm going to turn the thigh from rotate. I should say I'm going to turn the leg from the thigh and rotate internally. So it's an internal rotation. It's also known as a medial rotation. It's big because there are 3 heads to the hamstring muscle group. We're going after all of them. Now I want to think shoulder to heel. So that subtle twist, outside shoulder to inside heel, inside ankle. I just got a spine adjustment. And then inhale, I slowly rotate back to center. I'm going to tell you right now, my body doesn't like doing this, but I'm doing it. I'm only going to do it as much as I can handle. We don't want pain. So I'm slowly laterally rotating, externally rotating. Ooh, this is a tough one for me, folks, because I've had an injury at the lateral rotators that lie deep to the gluteals since I'm a child. So it's definitely profound. So I am not in pain. Do not allow 1 iota of pain in any of this work because, folks, that is what your body will respond to. It will remember the pain. So you back off. Maybe you have to come up higher. That's fine. Just use your breath. And then inhale, I'm going to rotate in back to neutral. Exhale, I'm going to bend the knee and I'm going to lean into my thigh. From here, airplane the arms. So airplane does not mean straight out to the sides. I want to bring my torso up a bit higher, maybe just change the position of the hands to the waist. There's a lot of pressure in the outside heel of that back foot, the foot that is on the floor. And inhale, open. Exhale, interlock your fingers. Accept the index fingers and the thumbs, opening up the heart center, retracting the shoulder blades drawn toward each other. And maybe arms up and overhead wide. Yes, it is balance. Lift the chin if you want or not. And then inhale, hand to the chair. Exhale, slide the foot out. Soften up your knees. Take the time to roll it up. I've really felt that into some nice big shoulder rolls. Oh my goodness gracious. So I'm going to still stand facing this way. And now the outside leg. So this is my real left leg. All right. So I'm technically, by the way, anatomy, that's why sometimes I trip over this. The anatomy from below the torso here down, top of the thigh down. It's called your thigh. Technically, anatomically, below the knee down is called your leg. So that's why I'm like, oh, thigh, leg, what am I saying? Okay. So now I'm going to bring the foot up and I'm going to go back a bit here. So when you step back, that back calf muscle, which is the muscle behind that low leg, it's a nice stretch. And then I'm going to pull hips back, slide the foot forward. The foot is what's called dorsiflexed. So the sole of the foot is facing the wall in front, toes toward the ceiling, and I'm pulling left hip back, right hip forward. So that's the outside hip back, inside hip forward. Oh, on this side, it's a big, deep stretch to the gluteals. Breath in and out. I'm not forcing anything. Think bringing the inside shoulder toward the outside, big toe. Chest is up. I noticed a little subtle rounding on myself, so I'm correcting it. And now we're going to go for that fabulous medial rotation. Inhale, exhale. Inside shoulder to outside heel. Are you breathing? Are you using the breath? I go deeper on the exhalation. And then inhale slowly back to center. I rise up for that. And then on the exhale, I don't know what I'm going to handle today. We'll see where this takes me. So not much depth here for me. That's okay, because I'm avoiding pain. And that is number one factor. And especially when there's chronic issues. Oh, forget it. Please, no pain. That's typically why people with chronic issues avoid working out or exercise. They're so frightened and timid to get hurt, and I don't blame them. And then we will slowly take it back to center, bend the knee, stepping in a bit, chest to thigh. I got to watch my microphone here, and checking this for the moment. I'm going to airplane the arms, belly button is drawn in. Looking down and out is fine, but not straight down. Don't drop that head straight down. And then maybe up a little higher, hands to the waist, chest up. I'm going to adjust my glasses. Okay. Good, strong standing leg. Inhale, the arms open wide, thumbs down. Exhale, interlock, puff up the chest. Reach back. Do not forward head project the neck, folks. We don't want that head projecting forward. And then arms, if you want. You don't have to. You can hold on to the chair. You can be straight out in front. The AC just kicked on, so you might hear some whirring. And then inhale, hands to the chair. Exhale, lower down. Knees bent. Take your time, slowly rolling up. Ooh la la, into some nice big shoulder rolls. That's a lot. That is a lot. We go deeper and deeper into it. Now, I'm going to turn the chair toward you. And I'm going to sit in it for the moment. Yeah, because I want you to see everything. Okay. So here's where, oh, you know what? I'm going to get my cushion. And I'm going to bring over a couple of props and accessories so that I have them accessible. Okay. So sitting with the legs wide apart, I'm going to pull the butt flesh back and out. This way I can sit up and forward on the front edge of the ischial tuberosity. These would be what in yoga what we call your sits bones. Now, what did we talk about in the beginning? Osteoporosis of the hip replacement. Pull them in. All right, please do that. Unless you've been advised it's perfectly okay for you. So what we're going to do here is called a Sufi grind. It's a great way to release from the back bending. It's just kind of like making these circles. So those of you who cannot forward flex the spine, I'm going to show you what you're going to do in just a moment. I'm going to reverse direction, and then we're going to demonstrate another way how you can do this. There's always a way. You've got to find a way. My new motto from Diana Nyad, the woman who at the age of 64 swam from Cuba to Florida. right? So she talks about find a way. So here we go. Same concept of soupy grind, but with the legs more narrow. Guess what? You're going to have to really work your abdominals, folks. Those of you not doing the forward flexion of the spine, this is deep core, and it's definitely more challenging from the core perspective than the full out Sufi grind. So I'm doing it here with you because I want that work. And release and toe heel the feet closer together. So now I'm going to turn the chair around and to a little bit more offset the back bending, we're going to do some forward bending. Only if it's appropriate for you, though, folks. So let me just clear some of this out of the way because I need myself some room here for this. I'm going to go a little more forward, not too much. I don't want to cut off too much of the chair. All right. So I'm going to stand hands on the seat. Carpal tunnel knows your modification. I'm bringing the legs wide apart. This is called a separated leg stretch. Prasarita Padottanasana. I'm standing with the feet a little bit of what they call pigeon-toed, and I'm contracting the quadriceps. The knees are straight. So you could stay right here if you need to. I'm going to play here, and I'm just going to experiment with lowering down onto the forearms. And carpal tunnel could do it this way as well, provided forward flexion of the spine is appropriate for you as well. And I'm applying pressure into the outside edges of the feet, which will engage the whole lateral side of the body, or I should say of the legs and thighs. Now I'm going to remove my glasses and I'm going to start to go lower. And you could use the seat as a cushion to brace your forehead if you want. If you want to lower your hands to the floor. You can also, I'm going to shimmy back a little bit more, and I'm going to go for it all the way down. And you're going to pitch the body weight forward. You don't have to do it like this, folks. And then I'm going to lift the head, coming forward, hands to the chair. Hold here, and heel, toe, the feet. Bend the knees, take your time, slowly roll up, and come into some nice big shoulder rolls. Really nice to do that after all the back bending. Now, I'm going to turn this back around, face you. And I'm going to grab my bolster and my blocks, have them close by. Well, actually, my cushion as well. Pull this forward. Okay. So now, what I'd like you to do is, let's take the blocks and bring them out in front, pretty close to the chair. And I'm going to take them this way so that they are perpendicular to you. I have 2 blocks stacked level 1. I'm going to pull back a little bit here. Okay. I'm going to bring the sides of the feet onto the blocks. I'm going to go all the way back into the chair, pull the butt flesh back and out. Leaning back. Now, osteoporosis of the hip and hip replacement. You can manually use your hands to keep your legs here, or you can take a couple of the hand towels and put them underneath your thighs so that you're not splaying open. The rest of us enjoy it. So we're stretching those adductor muscles of the inner thighs just to relax it. It's a variation on goddess pose. And you can let your arms drape back, open up the heart, lifting the chest, breathing in and out. Now you could take it a step further. So I'm going to scoot forward, grab my yoga bolster, and I'm going to put it behind me across the chair. Because I'm tying in a little bit of subtle spine extension, back bending. Leaning back. I want to make sure that bolster doesn't go through the window of the chair. And then arms over. So puff up the chest. I can look up if it feels comfortable. You don't have to. And coming forward, support to bring the knees together, and then set them down. I'm going to move this to the side for the moment. Now I'm going to turn a little bit on a diagonal. And this is where carpal tunnel needs to be careful, right? You're going to grab the chair leg. Hands on the seat. Puff up the chest. So it's a little baby version of a cobra posture, Bhujangasana. But it is a back bend, which is a spine extension. Open up the chest, front shoulders, retract shoulder blades. They come in toward each other. I don't think it's a particularly welcoming position to drop the head back here. I don't think there's enough of an arch of the spine to warrant that. And then release. And now I'm going to turn the chair forward again. Let me just bring it back a little bit. Yeah. I'm going to reintroduce the bolster. And we're going to do something called the fish pose. So, which is spine extension for sure. Both feet on the blocks. I want to make sure there's a little blue there left for you. All right, let's try it this way. Both feet, heels on, and butt flesh. Plantar flex the feet. So I'm pointing the feet down. Puff up the chest. Just finding my place of comfort. Yep. Oh, nice. Lift the chin up. Matsyasana. Fish pose. Inhale the head up. Exhale, hold. That moment of bringing the chin to neutral is fantastic for your thyroid gland as you bring a rush of blood to the throat area. And then we'll release. Now, you have your choice on how you would like to end the class from the physical practice perspective. You can keep your blocks out in front, and you can just relax back into your chair with your legs, your feet on the blocks. Or what I'm going to do is I'm going to set those blocks off to the side. I'm going to turn the chair. I'm going to use the bolster. And I'm going to be to the side again. It goes this way a little bit, so I'll be fully on camera with you. And I'm going to take the bolster across the chair. Coming to the side. Now, for those of you medicated hypertension or not, or have vertigo, GERD, this is where you're going to put the towels underneath your head if you choose to come onto your backs. So we're getting those legs up over the bolster, lying down. Just take a few moments to release, relax, and let go. Allowing the body to be very heavy, supported by the ground, supported by Mother Earth. And taking a nice big deep breath, stretch the arms up and overhead. Relax the arms down. I'm going to turn over to my side to slowly roll on up. And that's what we have for you today, Miss Mariquita. Thank you so much. I get cat hair all over me.
Hi, thank you so
Hi.
much, Angela.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
So I could really relate to the part about if you have an injury, you're scared to work
Oh,
out.
yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, if people look at this and go, oh, too much, it's too long. No, no, no. It is. Then it is. That's your reality. Pick something, pick one or two stretches, two postures. That's it. And build up little by little by little, particularly if there are chronic issues. The whole idea of my work, what has been driving my work since I began, I'm going to be 66 in less than 2 weeks. And I've been at this since I'm 28. And I have always been working with my demographic because now I'm a senior. And I have always been working with them. And the one thing that has driven me in all these decades has been we have to make it a comfortable setting for people with chronic issues to be able to get in some exercise, to feel like they have some control over the body, that one can get healthier by way of thoughtful movement. And the way to approach chronic concerns, at least from my background, all right, is little by little. And you do one or two movements. You watch the videos first. Do that. Definitely whomever you're going to work with, just watch what they're doing first. Don't jump in right away. Because sometimes people get very enthusiastic and eager, and I understand that because they're looking for hope. The way to remain hopeful is to be pain and injury free. How you do it is one step at a time, one exercise at a time, one stretch at a time, and you build up your own personal exercise protocol this way because you're figuring out what works for you and doesn't work for you. And no one else could. Forget other people's voices, because other people will say you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. Forget that stuff. Because what we're going to do is you break down the movements into smaller movements. You saw me do the Sufi grind. I do this big Sufi grind when I do it myself. I love the feeling. But you know what? It was more work when I had to do it small. Just because it requires engaging the muscle a little bit more deeply. So there's definitely an upside to working from this perspective. I mean, maybe some people have to be in a chair, Mariquita, right, to do work, to exercise, but they have to be in that chair because of health issues or because their work demands it. So then reframe the chair. Look at the chair as something positive, as an accessory, as a tool in your journey of health, rather than sitting is this new smoking. I mean, how judgmental is that? And you know what? I get that expression. I understand it. But it doesn't serve a whole bunch of people who have to be in the chair. So let's look at the chair and go, what can we do in that chair? What can we do with the chair? You know what I mean?
Right.
And let's turn this into a buddy rather than an enemy. And I think the same thing regarding any kind of health concerns, chronic issues. Yes, you need to be smart You need to be self-protective. But what starts to happen is that sort of limited way of thinking and the narrowing of the vision. And then I become tunnel vision and everything is I can't. No. Find the can, focus there. Don't jump into other stuff that makes you nervous. Don't. Just find one or two movements. And that's how you get stronger and you create more self-confidence this way.
Well, that's very true. You're solution focused.
Yeah, I definitely am. I can't. I don't want. I don't. What? I can't, and I can't do that. Just but it's just not in me to look at the body and what we're capable of doing. With I can't. It's just like maybe not now. Maybe small steps toward it. There's just ways of approaching it, and that's what I'm all about.
Right. And this, we're trying to just get rid of this belief of you get older, you take now it's time for my whole bag of pills, and now it's normal. I mean, it is
Yeah.
normal to be debilitated when we're older. I mean, that unfortunately has become the norm, but that doesn't mean that we can't choose something different. I mean, why?
Okay.
You
Can
know?
I say something with
Yeah.
that? What you're saying there? I'm gonna just take issue with the use of one word, and it's because it's bandied about today in such a way. Normal and common are two different things. So because something is common doesn't make it the norm, meaning normal. It's not normal just because it's common. So that's something that I just try to emphasize with people is watch that because you can create a new norm, right?
Exactly. I
Because
love
you
that.
can
You're right.
decide not to be common. I had some blood work done recently, and my doctor is Dr. Frank Sabatino. So we went over the blood work, and there's some stuff I need to work on. And he looked at like my white blood cell count and stuff like that, and he goes, basically, you have the immune system of a tank. Which is great. And I'm going to be 66 in 2 years. I mean, in 2 weeks, and I haven't gotten certain conditions and in illnesses and stuff like that, and I have no intention of doing so just because they're common. And I have a new medical doctor that it's not going to last long because she's got that way of thinking. It's like, well, you're going to be this and this, so therefore, and it's just like, am I giving you any indication of heart disease? It's like, okay, she doesn't work out at all. She doesn't exercise. So this is not somebody that can discuss my training program and what I do for myself. That's why it's just common, normal, two different things. That's really what
I
my
love
whole
it.
point.
Thank you. Yes, you're right.
Thank
Exactly
you.
right. Well,
Thank you for saying that.
we got some comments.
Uh,
JJ's here and she's
Hi,
saying,
JJ.
I want arms like Angela, no fair. I love it,
Well, I work for them though.
right. And Muriel's here. Happy
I
birthday.
love. Happy birthday! Thank you so much in advance. That's very sweet.
Yeah, it is very sweet. So
Thank you.
you're going to have to come to my healthy living group, a Zoom maybe. So we'll have to talk about that later.
I would love to. Whatever works for you, I would love to do that.
Yeah, because I mean, you have so much to inspire people. We don't have to be stuck, right? It's time to take back control. I mean, we have to be responsible for our bodies. And I love what you're saying because a little bit at a time, and I grew up with this no pain, no gain. And it's more gentle, realize.
No pain, no gain. I know it's just like, gosh, the fitness community, my dear darling fitness community, is just a little bit behind the times when it comes to this thought process and no pain, no gain, and really dismissing those of us of a certain age, just completely dismissing us, you know? And then I'm just like, I ain't going away, folks. Not anytime too soon. So
Good.
I got the hope for all of us, you know? I got the hope for all of us because there is just so much that is so beautiful about being in the fitness community and the wellness part of life. And to see, I have seen such an incredible growth on people. And I've been very blessed, Mariquita, to be able to work with clients. I mean, I have I still am working with the very first client I ever had when I moved down to South Beach, and it was in 2001. And they're
Wow.
still my clients, husband and wife, you know, and it's hilarious because I will come in with, and we meet virtually because they live there, I live here, and we did it from the pandemic, and I just am constantly bringing them new stuff, and the husband is like really like frustrated and really disgruntled when I'm like uh, presenting a new or different approach to an old way of doing an exercise, and I'm like, listen, I don't care because now you're 80 and I'm 66, and I don't care because I'm going to tell you something until the day you drop and I drop. I'm going to keep bringing you new information because that's how you stay healthy. And his wife is hilarious. She slaps him right in the shoulder and goes, that's right.
I love it.
Wife is like, you should be glad you're able to do, the different stuff. And that's the whole thing is if people are immersed in, this is where community is very important, right? This is what you provide for us by having vegan empowerment coaching, and also JJ and her platform, and Muriel with her platform, right? This is all community so that we can have an experience of sharing something like-minded, right? And because maybe in the real world or the non-virtual world, because to me this is very real, um, there might not be that kind of there might not be that kind of support from those who you live with, or those that you're friendly with, what have you. So it's really important for people, and especially people with chronic issues, to have support. And I'm not talking about other people doing crap for them. I am not a big fan of the whole model of medicine where there's lots of aides and the person just sits and does nothing for themselves. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, if ever we wanted to turn people into just victim kind of oriented individuals, that's the way to do it. And that's the way to make them defeatist and make them just feel like they're not worth anything. If it's me and somebody comes over to help me, I mean, no kidding, no kidding. I will say to youngsters who are very sweet, right? People in their teens, in their 20s, oh, may I help you with your grocery cart? No, because what am I going to do when I get home? You're not going to be there. So no thanks. I don't want your aid. I don't want your support like that. I want you to come up and say, do it. You got this. That's what I want people to experience. And you can do it through the movement of the body. It's just got to be intentionally presented and executed so you can avoid being hurt.
Amen. When you said that, I saw every cell in your body supporting you. And
Oh, yeah.
do it
Thank you.
right.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, it lights up my every fiber of my being, and that's why it still drives me with the work. That's why I'm still fascinated by the work, because science changes and it's like, well, you can do an exercise this way, but now we know if you do it that way. And I'm just like, bring it on, bring it on. Why? Oh, that's great. Let's try it. Anything that the body and the brain will respond to and go, oh, that's different. Well, you're not used to that. I don't want to do that. Okay, I don't want to do it, but I'm going to do it because it's good for the brain too.
You're right. You're
Oh, absolutely. And because the body, the brain is like, wait a minute, she's approaching this in a different way. Now, what are we going to do with that? And I'm like, suck it up.
I love
So,
it.
yeah, so that's that. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. I thank everyone for watching. We really don't have any questions. We have a lot
That's
of
okay.
inspiration. I mean, people are very inspired. I feel the energy. And I mean, this is so important that we keep going and that we believe in ourselves. I mean, this is empowerment, right? I mean,
That's right.
we have to believe in ourselves, and even we have to be ready to fall down and we get back up no matter what. We get back up, and it's wonderful. You know what? I just did a the challenge, and the third day was about power. Real power comes from helping each other, me reaching out to you, you helping me. When we say I don't need any help, that's not powerful. That's I mean, that's the ego. I don't need anybody. And we have a lot of people. I mean, there's a lot of people that come to mind that are just this grandiose, that I don't need any help. Everything's perfect. Everything's wonderful. And that's not real power. Real power is falling down, getting up, and saying, let's get going, like you're doing.
Try it. Let's try again. Let's find a way. You've got to find a way to make things happen. And I'm going to tell you something. When that movie came to Netflix, Naiad, with Annette Bening and Jodie Foster, that just came at the right moment in time for me. And I saw that film over 65 times.
I got to watch it.
Oh, it's unbelievable. And it's just because the attitude is find a way. And all she was being told was, because of your age, oh, you'll never do it. You're a female. And it took her 35 years to finally accomplish the goal. And she did. And she did it at 64. Swam 110 miles. And the training involved with that and the mindset involved with that, I just look at her and I go, she did that. That's okay, Angela. You can move and get everything done in 34 days. Got it?
Oh my gosh, I love you. This is wonderful. I'm going to go watch this movie after this.
Oh, it is mind blowing. The whole storyline is mind blowing. So I recommend it to everybody.
Well, thank you. This is just
Thank you, love.
amazing. I
Thank
love this.
you.
And thanks, Muriel, and everyone for watching. And make sure that okay, so where do we find you?
Oh, thank you for asking that. So, my biggest love right now would be my YouTube channel, and it's Boomer and Beyond Wellness. and and if folks can come there and support it, because really that's where you're going to see how I truly work, and how you see me present is how I work with people privately. So when it comes to the work itself, if you are interested in working with me privately, I do virtual work remotely. And as a senior fitness consultant, I'm able to do personal training. And also, I do hatha yoga. And then the opposite end of the spectrum, I do prenatal yoga. It's really lovely to just be able to go off in the opposite direction.
Mm.
And also, if you're living in the Fort Lauderdale area of Florida, I am a licensed massage therapist, and I go to people's homes and offices and love to do like deep tissue massage, Swedish massage, but I also have specialty in geriatric massage, and I do palliative care massage. And also, I do want to mention really this work that got presented to me because of the pandemic, is being a video provider of strength training and yoga videos to various whole food plant exclusive platforms that are really seriously helping people transition from the standard American diet to whole food plant based, plant dominant, plant exclusive. And I'm providing strength training videos and yoga videos to these platforms. They would be Feel Fabulous Over 40, and also Timmery Hagenberger, and brilliant plant-based RDN. Her platform is the Foodie Bar Way of Life. And it is just so fulfilling to be able to provide information to these platforms that are encouraging a life of ahimsa
Mm.
and self-confidence and strength. So I'm,
That's
I'm very lucky. Yeah. Thank you for
I
asking.
I'm very blessed to have you on here. This is wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you for giving me this platform. You're very, very generous with your platform with me, as is JJ. Very, very generous. I'll be coming up and near the end of, I think we're doing it the April 21st or 22nd. I can't remember. I have to look, but we're going to be doing something on her platform as well. And we're going to do yoga on the ball on her platform, because that one's for Dawn. That is for Dawn. She really likes a lot of yoga, and I was like, oh, we got to try a different approach for you, you know. So anyhow, you gals are very very welcoming of my work, and I sincerely appreciate the opportunity, because this is where I get to explore and create, and I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much.
well, we're very blessed to have you anytime. Please come back anytime, right? Yes, we need this. It's so important to have a powerful female role models. So,
Look out now.
all right, get out of our way. I love it. So, all
Thank
right. Well,
you.
thank you, everyone. I'm going to have a sound journey if you're in Atlanta, Georgia. I'll be having a sound journey this Saturday at Hot Works in Sandy Springs. And because I'm doing now live events, forest bathing, really honoring our forest. And that means living foods. I mean, it's
Mm.
making the connection, right, between our foods, our forest, the earth. It's all a himsa, like you just said.
It all is. It's just all different aspects of it. We're all coming at it from different directions. I flipped out. I was like, where is this place located that she's going to be at? And then I was trying to see if it was being offered virtually, because I'm like, oh, that would be just a glorious, glorious experience.
We'll have to do it virtually after we can figure out how to you can hear all the instruments.
Yeah, yeah, that would be incredible. I'd buy a ticket to that, honey, any day.
All right, we'll get it going.
I would. I would. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Angela, and everyone for watching. This is always a blessing, and we'll see you back on here again soon.
Thank you so much, Mariquita. I love you and love everybody and your members. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful community. Thank you again.
Love you.
Love you too.
Bye bye.
Namaste, vegan.
Namaste, vegan.
Bye bye.